are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm Christy.
I'm Denise.
Hi, Denise. Is it okay if I call you Denise?
Yes, that's perfectly fine.
Okay. What brings you into the office today?
Well, I recently I've gotten into a little bit of trouble. I had to go to the emergency room the other night due to self-inflicted pain or injuries, and the ER doctor suggested that I come and speak to you.
Okay. And will you want to give me some detail about what you did to cause this pain?
Mm-hmm. I used an X-Acto knife to cut my arms, and I took some prescription medicine. I'm not suicidal. It was not a suicide attempt per se, but I sometimes just like to hurt myself.
Did you go to the emergency room on your own, or did someone encourage you to go?
Someone found me in my apartment.
Okay. So you were unconscious?
I was unconscious.
Okay. Did at the emergency room, what procedures did they take? Did they give you any medications? Did they ask you to commit to maybe a psych hold in a psychiatric hospital?
Mm-hmm. Well, they stitched up my wrists, and they gave me some slight, easy pain medication to help with the pain. And they called my regular therapist to, because I see another therapist regularly. And they called her to ask her if they thought I should be put into the psychiatric ward, but she said no.
Okay, so your therapist said no.
Said no.
Okay. So when you cut yourself, how did that make you feel until, I guess, you lost consciousness?
Well, whenever I inflict harm on my body, whether it's using cigarettes and putting them out on my arms or my legs, or taking pills or cutting myself, I like to do it because it makes people notice me. I usually do it whenever I feel like I have been really wronged. I remember growing up, my parents, we had such a perfect house, and I'm one of 4 children. I'm the only girl. I have 3 brothers, and we were always supposed to be perfect and prim and proper, and it wasn't very sightly or acceptable to kind of misbehave or show your emotions, and so I started to privately act out and kind of release some of my anger on my own body whenever I was unhappy.
Okay. So when you were found and they took you, how did you feel that your therapist didn't recommend maybe hospitalization?
I feel fine with that. I'm not suicidal. The only reason she didn't want to put me into a psychiatric hospital is because I'm not suicidal, but and I mean that I'm not, but I just suffer from wanting to hurt myself.
Okay. So you say you're not suicidal, but yet when you decided to inflict pain, instead of going your upper arm or your lower arm, you said that you went for your wrist. Mm-hmm. Is there a reason why?
So I could make a bigger point and have more attention.
Okay. Do you think that you got the attention from the person that you were trying to get the attention from?
Yes, I do. Because I called one of my ex-boyfriends. I used to work with him, and we started this romantic relationship, but he called it off, and I'm very angry with him for calling it off, and so I called him and left him a voicemail saying that he did not deserve to treat me this way, and then I proceeded to take the prescription pills and cut myself, and then whenever he called me back and I didn't answer, he called 911, and the police came to my apartment, and from there, so I did get his attention, and I think he noticed how badly he wronged me.
Have you seen him since this incident?
No, I have not.
So by doing this, did it make you feel better that he acknowledged by at least calling 911?
Yes. I it did make me feel better, but I still just think he's a horrible person, and I deserve more of his time and attention. He left me for another girl because he said I was too clingy, but I didn't think he was taking the relationship serious enough. And I have a history of boyfriends doing this. They always want to get into a relationship and be romantically involved, and then they don't treat it like a real relationship, and they don't want to spend as much time with me anymore. And it makes me angry, and that's usually when I act out.
So you say that you're angry, and angry is definitely an emotion that you're having. Do you have any other emotions when you're going through these inflicting pain on yourself or hurting yourself?
Um, I have feelings of jealousy and maybe envy toward my boyfriend. Who else is he spending time with? Why is he not spending time with me? I just really need I need the attention. I want his attention.
Um, so you told me a little bit about your family growing up. So you're the only girl of 4 boys. Where do you fall in the birth order of that?
I'm the third child.
Third child. And what is your relationship with your parents, other than them having the perfect house? I mean, what is your physical relationship with them?
Well, my mother, she was always distant. My father, just one second. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay. My father and I adore my father, but he was definitely like he laid down the law in the house. I knew not to ever cross him, if that makes sense. I remember when I was little, he was taking a nap and I was playing my radio too loud, and instead of yelling or hitting or punishing me, he told me to go into his office. And so I went to his office, and he stared at me and took a Valentine that I had made him off of the shelf, and then he looked at me and just cut it up and threw it in the trash can. And so that was really hurtful. And my mom, she was always kind of distant. I mean, I didn't have a special relationship with her. It wasn't too close. Like I said, she was trying to maintain her image. My siblings, I got along with them, but my older brother, one of my older brothers, used to, when he was like around 14, would come into my room and force me to do sexual things with him. And I didn't feel comfortable with it, but he threatened me that if I ever told anyone that, he would have his friends beat me up and things like that. And so I never told anyone.
So you never told anyone.
Yeah, and my mom came home one day from work, and my brother was in my room, and he quickly ran out. And she kind of looked a little suspicious, but she never pursued it. And this went on until he left for college.
Oh, wow. Okay. And you never told anyone?
I never told anyone.
Okay. Were there other family members that you were close to, grandparents or aunts or uncles or anything like that? Okay. What about your friends when you were growing up? You talked a little bit about your brother's friends maybe beating you up and that kind of stuff, but what about your friends?
I had an easy time making friends when I was younger. I enjoyed being around people. I have a really fun personality, so it's fun. It's easy to make friends. It's just I couldn't, especially through college and my early 20s, I wasn't able to maintain my friends. These girls and guys, they'll at first everything's great, but then they kind of don't want to hang out with me anymore, and they just kind of leave me high and dry. And so I get really frustrated because whenever you're friends with someone, you're supposed to want to spend all your time with them, and they say I'm too clingy, but I don't think I am.
So you mentioned college. Did you graduate from college?
Mm-hmm.
And what is your degree in?
I pursued a business degree, public relations, marketing, and then I got into that. My father actually helped me get a job, and I was there, but at this firm, but not for very long. I had some difficulties maintaining good relationships with the other employees, and so then I decided to become a paralegal. And so I worked at a paralegal firm, or a law firm, as a paralegal. And the same thing, I was only there for maybe 6 months. And then I decided I want to be a waitress because the hours are more flexible. You get to work late into the night and then kind of party until the all morning.
Okay.
And then people are also, it's more fun to meet customers and work with that type of population.
Okay. So your job training, did you get like a certification in paralegal, or did you just? Okay.
Yeah, so technically I'm certified in 2 different occupations, I guess.
Sure.
But I ended up becoming a waitress.
Okay. So you mentioned that you became a waitress and you like to party in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do for fun? I mean,
I enjoy drinking.
Okay.
I like to party a lot, and I also enjoy having relations with some of my male coworkers. It's always fun to have like little flings, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, I love shopping. I spend a lot of my parents' money.
Okay. So you mentioned flings with your coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about your sexual history. Exactly how many coworkers, maybe in the last 6 months, or?
I don't know if I could really put a number on that. It's pretty frequent. I would say in the last 6 months, maybe 3 or 4 guys. And I like I said, I always want to develop a relationship with them, and I don't cheat on them or anything like that. But it's that once we start becoming romantically involved and our relationship progresses a little bit, and I want to spend more time with them. They don't want to spend more time with me, and they.
So it's not like one night stands.
No.
Okay. And so you said 3 or 4 in the last 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We've talked about sexual trauma. When your brother was taking advantage of you, or how did that make you feel?
I didn't like it. I knew it was wrong, but I was scared, because I didn't want to be beaten up. I didn't want to get in trouble by my dad or my mom. But I knew that it wasn't right what he was doing.
And I mean, was it intercourse, or was it other things? Or
no, it was never intercourse. But he would force me into touching him and him touching me and things like that.
Okay. During the time, because you said it went on until he went to college, and it started when he was about 14.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, did you have other sexual relationships with boys at school, or
no.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So when was your first sexual encounter not with your brother?
When I was in college,
Okay.
around there, that's when I started, making more friends and drinking and things like that.
Have you ever had an abortion, or do you have children, or?
I have no children. I'm not married. I've never had an abortion.
Okay. Okay. And then let's talk a little bit about your medical history. Do you take any medications, or?
No. I mean, aside from whenever I have to go to the hospital for something, I don't take, or if I've overdosed, a few times, but no, I don't take any.
So the overdose that you had, was it a prescription drug that you took from somebody, or was it an over-the-counter drug, or?
It was a prescription drug. I don't know how I obtained it. I don't remember. But I didn't take enough to kill me. I just took enough to make me go unconscious, and I was aware of that whenever I took the drug. I knew what amount to take.
Okay. Did you know that by researching it, or did you know that because you've done that in the past, or did the person that maybe got you the drug told you this is how much you take to get this effect?
I honestly don't remember. I don't know how I knew.
You just knew that if you took this amount, it would knock you out.
It probably would kill me. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever? So you have a previous counselor, and they called him or her from the hospital, but yet you chose to come here. Is there a reason why?
No, there's no particular reason. I feel like it's time to actually maybe get some real answers. My other therapist is very nice, but I don't feel like I'm making very much progress with her.
Okay.
If that makes sense. I want some help with my relationships, especially with men, because I don't like going through these waves of being extremely happy, and then, you know, they want to leave me, and I don't understand why.
Did you ask her for a referral, or did you just kind of grab a phone book and research?
I respect her phone book.
Okay. Let's see. Have you ever had problems like with the legal system, with the drinking and stuff? Have you had a DUI, or have you been maybe public drunkenness or anything like that?
Well, no, I haven't ever had a DUI or anything like that. But whenever I was going through, my young adult phase in college, I did partake in some shoplifting and minor criminal offenses. However, I was never caught. But I have performed some illegal activities.
Okay. Do you smoke cigarettes or marijuana or anything?
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right. So it sounds like that you're ready to start working on your relationships and your attitudes towards the guys that you date. And I think that that's definitely a place that we can go. I can tell you that we can, treatment will last 6 months to a year to start with, and we'll kind of see how you feel. We can definitely address the issues that you're having, maybe more so than the therapist that you're currently seeing. I would think that you probably need to notify that therapist and let them know. Unless if you want to see us both, and at that point maybe we can confer and see if there's crossover. I don't know if maybe they're working on something else. It really concerns me that you have maybe, even though you say you didn't try to commit suicide, that you have tried to commit suicide. Because if that ex-boyfriend had not made the reaction that he made and called 911, you may not be here today. So that concerns me. So I'm going to ask you that when you get to, if you feel like you need to be at that point, that you call myself or you call 911, because there's no guarantees that the person that you're trying to get their attention is going to make that call. And you got really lucky that he did choose to do that, and but if he was really the jerk that maybe you say that he is, he could have said, she's being over dramatic and hung up the phone, and or not responded to the voicemail, and then you could have been in a much different situation, possibly even not here to talk about this. So as far as like the suicide issue is, I know that you say you're not trying to kill yourself, but if we get to that point again, I need you to call someone other than the person that you're trying to reach. Maybe if you have a trusted friend, or you're welcome to call here. The office has an emergency number 24 hours a day, so you can call them. May not be me, but someone would get the call and at least be able to make the call to 911 and get the help that you need. As far as that, are you okay with that, or do you want to try a treatment process and go through that?
I would be okay with that.
Okay. Well, why don't you stop at the receptionist desk and set up an appointment for next week, and maybe based on how your payment goes and that kind of stuff, we may be able to meet twice a week if you're